my son, who's 5 at this point, had a birthday, says, "Mom, does Dad love you anymore? Why is he being mean to you?" I put them to bed, then went outside and I said, "I'm sorry, you're gonna have to figure this out. You need to tell me what's going on or you're going to have to leave until you can tell me what's happening, because this is what he just said and this is not okay." He stood and stared at the water, and then I heard the front door close. And I looked outside and he drove away and he never came back. And a month later, my next door neighbor, who was my closest friend, stopped talking to me as well. That's when I started to piece things together. I confronted this in therapy at this point. He denied, "That's crazy, you're nuts." I spent the next 15 months trying to prove it. And I kind of spiraled, right? Just trying to get answers. And the whole time he said, "And I'm diagnosed with cancer." And he still never comes home. He doesn't show up.
He doesn't offer support.
He doesn't offer support. I had to peel myself, honestly, off the floor for a while until I finally woke up one day and really said, "I don't like who I am anymore, and this isn't what I want my children to see." I reached out.
High conflict divorce is where there is a lot of arguing and intense emotions, particularly in front of the children. I want everyone to understand is that if you are a high conflict couple and you divorce, children are resilient.
It was like, I don't even recognize myself.
Yeah.
I need to open this up and get out of this cage. I first opened the doors to Grown 10 years ago. I honestly thought we were just reinventing fast food. But what I didn't realize is this was never just about the food. We were also building community. My name is Shannon Allen, and you're watching Grown Woman Season 2. 50% of marriages in this country end in divorce, but it's the thing nobody wants to talk about. The shame, the retribution, the potential for violence or loss of financial security. What happens when a family with young children suddenly doesn't work anymore? These are the things that we are going to dig in today at the Grown Table. I am so honored to be joined by this brave warrior who has gone from chaos to complete transformation, Heather Mennell, and my dear friend Jennifer Medwin, who is not only a divorce coach, but also a family mediator all the way up to the Supreme Court level. Today, we are going to have a conversation that I hope will inspire people that are listening to remember their own personal power, to ask for resources, to surround themselves with a community of support, and to remember that it is okay to be hopeful, to begin again, and that just because one love dissolved doesn't mean that a better love isn't on its way to you. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining me today at the Grown Table and for being my guests today at Grown Woman.
Such a pleasure. You're doing such important work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Heather.
Thank you.
When you define yourself and how you like to hold space for clients, how do you think of your work?
Well, I think about it in terms of choices, right? We have choices either to be victims or to be creators. And it's really important. I meet my clients right where they are. And it's essential that they understand that in order to move forward, they have to feel in order to heal. And so really helping them understand the journey, right? The journey of divorce and walking them through the 4 quadrants of what I call the process.
So I want to get into the 4 quadrants, but first I want to go back because you also had your own divorce.
I did.
So after 17 years of marriage, there was a decision that was made.
Yes.
There will be a dissolution of this marriage.
Yes.
Take me back there. Were you doing this work already, or were you doing a different kind of work when you came to the conclusion that your own marriage would dissolve?
Yes, that's a great question. I was not doing this work.
Okay.
However, I always was so fascinated by the self-help concept. And I'm a voracious reader. And I love to learn. I'm a forever lifelong learner. And so while this wasn't my profession, I had a lot of tools, right? I'm someone who really believes in therapy, really believes in just self-care and not resisting what is. And it was a difficult time. You know, divorce, there are so many tentacles to it. And we had 2 young children. And we had basically, we had gone to college together and we had this life together, and really unraveling it and figuring out who I am without being a wife.
Did you just fall out of love? Because I think that's what people want to know.
Yeah.
Was there just a day where you thought, we have this partnership, but I don't see myself romantically connected to you anymore? What did that feel like?
Well, I will be completely honest with you. I married my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I thought that this was the right decision. We look at our lives, we look at our parents' marriage, we look at the marriages that we grew up with. And my mother always used to say, the physical aspect fades fast. It fades fast.
Really?
And so it's so important to marry somebody that you really respect and love and feel safe with. And I did for a very long time.
17 years?
17 years. Well, we were married 17.
Okay.
I knew 10 years prior that it was not really going to last.
Really?
We tried. We went to therapy. We did the best we could. And at the end of the day, we had evolved into different individuals. That's not to say we didn't maintain some of our core values.
What are those? What were those core values?
Well,
Family.
family, respect, and really, kindness. It was a really hard time. It was a really hard time.
So you were married for 17 years,
Yes.
but 10 years in, you knew this really isn't the kind of marriage that we can be in anymore. What core values did you have that you were willing to walk away from? What was your thought process at that time?
My thought process was that I really wanted to make it work for the children. Really, being a mom and a good mom was always and is still the most important thing to me. And for a long time, I shoved down those inner whispers. They were there. We all have these whispers. And when they would come, I would push them down. And really what I learned is that I was the warden of my own prison.
Ooh.
And I needed to find a way to get that key and open myself up.
You said you prided yourself on being a mom and being a good mom. In your mind, was being a good mom also being a married mom? Because I think women generally stay in, and I don't want to say that you had a bad relationship, but stay in relationships that they know aren't good for them, whether it's spousal abuse or financial abuse or someone that's dimming your shine and you can't fully be who you are. But women stay, I think a lot of times for fear of retribution or maybe physical violence, but also, and maybe financial security, but also for the children.
They do.
And was that what you were doing?
I was doing that.
Okay.
And, I'll never regret that decision. My philosophy is, what are the messages in that mess? And there were so many messages. And within that fear, there's an acronym, feel everything and rise.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
What was the first discussion like with your ex-husband when you said, I can't do this anymore? Or maybe you both came to terms with it together, or maybe he was the one that mentioned it.
We went back and forth. We knew that we were in trouble.
Because you were doing the counseling, you were trying to do the date nights, you were going on alone trips. Nothing was working.
When you know, you know.
Wow.
And it's about staring at yourself in the mirror and speaking your truth, right? The truth matters, right? You never have to think twice about what your truth is.
Right. You don't have to remember the truth.
That's right.
And that's why it's so great to always be honest.
That's right.
Right. Because you never have to remember it. It just is what it is.
That's right. And that's one of my key words is, speaking your truth.
Mm.
And I have to tell you, it was the greatest gift
Really?
I gave myself.
So you don't look at a divorce as a failure. That's a big part of your work.
That's right. And the words we use matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I call them private huddles. I have a lot of private huddles with myself.
Sure.
To empower myself to take these brave bites forward. And, that's a choice. I believe I'm 56. I'm proud to be 56. I'm 56 in section 4 of my life. right?
Okay.
Of my story.
Mhm.
And I'm continuing to write it. And how am I going to make that story the best story it can be? With all of my scars,
Yeah.
with all of my negative experiences, they've brought me to who I am right now.
It's all a part of your story.
And that's
And you
that's
own your story.
I own my story. I own my story.
And I think, it's really beautiful to hear how you not only came to this dissolution and then walked forward with power and grace, truly, and owning your own personal story, but also deciding to dive into this work to support other people that may be going through something similar.
That's right.
And so after the dissolution of your marriage, did you kind of have this aha moment? I believe in therapy. I believe in support. I believe in empowering people to have tools and make brave bites forward.
Mhm.
I need to be in a support role for other people that may be going through something difficult like I am. Is that how you came to this decision or no?
Interestingly enough, I'm from New York City.
Okay.
And my sister ran into an old friend of mine, and she reached out to me on IM. And after her name, it said CDC.
Okay.
And so when we finally spoke, I said, "What is CDC? I know you don't work for the government." She said, "I'm a certified divorce coach." And it was, early on when, the American Bar Association defined divorce coaching in 2013.
Mhm.
And now I've been doing it over a decade. And I researched the program and I found it so fascinating. I took my first class and then that was it.
You're like, this is my purpose.
I can tell you that my very first client, when she left, and I think we've spoken about this, I went outside
Mhm.
and the rays of sun, I felt like they were hitting me. And I
Wow.
knew in that moment, it enveloped in the light of the sun and the warmth, that this was where I was supposed to be.
It's beautiful.
And I haven't looked back.
Wow. How many people get that confirmation so powerfully?
Yeah.
It's so crystal clear. You
It
were
was
able
so
to see
crystal clear.
this is where I'm supposed
That's
to
right.
be.
And this
Oh,
is
that's
my
awesome.
passion.
Mhm.
And I believe everybody has passions. Not everybody has a purpose. I think that's a setup.
Okay.
But we all have curiosities and we all have passions. And I love to learn every day, and I continue to take classes and read and show up as my best self for my clients.
So let's talk about your clients.
Yes.
How did you and Heather come to know each other?
So I was connected with Jen
Mhm.
through a work, I want to say colleague, really a client,
Yeah.
while I was going through a divorce. And it was obvious I needed help and needed support through the journey. I was really struggling to find my own and get back on my feet. And that's how we connected.
And so Jen really became a lifeline for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't want to put words in your mouth. If there's
She
some other,
definitely was. I would absolutely say
Okay.
that. I say today that I could not have done it without her.
really,
Absolutely. That is true. I say all the time. I leaned on her heavily,
Mhm.
and we spent, hours here and there just talking through all of my different needs, from what I needed from my attorney, what I needed emotionally, what I needed as far as my communication with my ex-husband. How can I better work with my children? How can I navigate those conversations?
right.
It was every aspect of that divorce.
And I think a lot of times, like, I know when I think about it, anyone that I know that's gone through a divorce, it's messy. A lot of times
Yes.
it can be so messy. And sometimes it can be beautiful. And people, I know several friends that have blended families, and the spouses get together, they vacation together as a family, they celebrate holidays together. It's all about the kids. And I have probably 3 very good friends that have navigated divorce like champions.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's like,
beautiful.
wow, you
Yes.
guys are superstars. And people are happy. They're sharing information. The husbands, the ex-husband and the new husband do things together, go on golf trips, hang out. I mean, really, and even in my own personal life, my grandparents were divorced and remarried before I was born. So I have 3 sets. My mom's parents were married until my grandfather passed away. My dad's parents both found new spouses, were married and stayed together until my grandparents eventually passed away. But one of the really cool things about their divorce, I remember Christmas was a holiday that we all celebrated. my mom's parents and my dad's two sets of parents. Everybody came to our house for Christmas. And my grandmother and her new husband didn't have dancing in common. They had a lot in common, but they didn't dance together. But my grandmother and my grandfather, who were exes, grew up in the big band era.
Wow.
So after Christmas dinner and the dessert came out and the coffee, my dad would always put on music and my grandparents would dance. And their spouses would sit and watch and smile and have a drink. And it was so beautiful for my dad and his brother to see that even though their parents were no longer in a marriage, there still was love there.
Yes.
And that they were created in love. And for us as girls, I'm the oldest of three girls like you, Heather.
Yes.
And I know you have a twin sister and then an older sister. For me as the oldest sister and watching my younger sisters watch that moment, I don't know that it really resonated or that I understood at the time, like, wow, this doesn't happen. But what they modeled for us was that this does not have to be violent. This does not have to be the dissolution of a family because these two people decided they aren't good as husband and wife.
And you know what? And I teach co-parenting to high conflict families. And there is a saying, behaviors are not only taught, they're caught.
Yeah.
And
we caught that.
You caught it.
We
and
did.
it resonated with you. And for those families, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, most divorce families are not like that.
Tell me what a high conflict divorce is for people that are sitting at home watching saying, I've never heard that term before.
So a high conflict divorce is where there is a lot of arguing and intense emotions, particularly in front of the children. And there is something called ACEs, adverse childhood experiences.
That's a trauma.
That is a trauma. What leads to the trauma is the intensity and the duration of the conflict, right? And like I said, behaviors are not only taught, they're caught. And the children are constantly watching. And if there is a lot of arguing and lack of communication, right? Because not speaking is also a negative form of communication, right? And if there's
it's
such
abuse.
Well, yes, we use that term.
Avoidance.
Yes.
You know, shutting down emotionally. If you
Yes.
are sitting at a dinner table and you're watching your mom say, hey, can I remove your plate for you? Or what is your plan tomorrow? And no one responds. The kids are like, did you not hear her?
Yes.
Right? Because what do you tell your kids? Answer your father. Your father asked you a question. So I could see that would be emotionally unsettling for a child to be in that situation. And the communication stops. So that's ACEs.
That's one of the ACEs, but
Okay.
it's the primary ACEs. And I will tell you this, that that's ACEs, but they're PCE, positive childhood experiences, right? And what I want everyone to understand is that if you were a high conflict couple and you divorce, children are resilient.
Yeah.
Right? And they can move through big T and small t traumas, okay? And the positive childhood experiences, you can add to them if you make the conscious effort that you're going to be child-focused, not me-focused, not ego-focused, child-focused.
So I want to get into that, but I really want to give Heather an opportunity because, Heather, your story to me is one of the most powerful stories of courage, survivorship, intention, self-care, self-love in a divorce that I've ever heard. I mean, when we're talking about high conflict divorces, you certainly had one. Can you share with me a little bit about your personal journey, where you were and how you got to where you are now?
Sure. Well, I was married 9 years.
Mm-hmm. Someone you fell in love with?
Yes, of course. We were together 15 years. And I think unlike Jen's story, and your marriage, I really thought until the day it kind of unraveled, I thought things were wonderful. I thought there were no problems, no issues. There was no therapy. I thought we were very happily married. I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, so two very small children. And very similar to what we were just speaking about, where all of a sudden somebody is unresponsive and not communicating. This is exactly what happened in my marriage.
Really?
And the week COVID hit, all of a sudden my ex-husband just stopped communicating. And
you had no signs before that?
No signs. Zero.
You were doing all the normal marriage stuff?
Everything. We had a home in Brazil that we owned, and we had just spent 2 weeks there. We came home, and all of a sudden there was just no more communication.
And for me, because I'm trying to envision this, that you're thinking everything's great.
Perfect.
Okay, so there's intimacy.
Yes.
There's communication.
Yes.
There's sharing of responsibilities.
Yes.
There's those kinds of talks that only spouses can have.
Yes.
You're helping do all of the mental masturbation that you do in work and families.
Yes.
And he's supporting your oncology business.
Everything. Yes. He owned a company. I have a successful career. We have a beautiful home. We go out on the boat every weekend. We're living a normal
holidays. Both parents are there.
Yes.
He loves your sisters.
Yes.
They're talking to him. They're
Yes.
texting. What should I get
Yes.
Heather for her birthday?
100%.
The normal stuff.
We're going on family trips with my family and so forth, and trips to his home country in Argentina to see family and so forth. Yes, everything is normal.
So you come back from Brazil, and it's the week COVID hits,
Yes.
and he goes silent.
Silent. And he stops communicating completely.
Okay, meaning what?
Like, I'll say, hey, dinner's ready. Everybody come sit down. And he goes out the back door and gets in the pool. And then it's okay, we're going to go take baths. And, he'll just kind of walk past.
He's not helping with bedtime.
Nothing. And then and then he'll walk by and be like, okay, everybody want to go get in the pool? And he'll grab the kids and disappear out the back door. Or, okay, let's get on the boat. And he'll grab the kids and jump on the boat and take off.
And you're on the
leave me.
dock.
And I'm just there. Yes.
How long did that go on before
That
you were
went
like?
on until May.
How long was that period?
That lasted until, so this was March to April.
Okay.
April, he says, I'm going to move to the guest room if that's okay. And I said, no, that's not okay.
That was the first thing he said to you?
Yes.
With no communication?
No communication. And he took a bag and one duffel bag, and he went to the guest room.
Okay.
And then we fast forward to the first week of May, and my son, who's 5 at this point, had a birthday, says, Mom, does Dad love you anymore? Why is he being mean to you?
Your 5-year-old?
My 5-year-old.
I'm going to cry right now.
Yes. Well, it broke my heart. And he was outside at the pool, again, by himself.
Okay.
And I'm getting ready to put the kids down for a nap. And I said, well, I put them to bed. And I then went outside. And I said, I'm sorry, you're going to have to figure this out. You need to tell me what's going on, or you're going to have to leave until you can tell me what's happening, because this is what he just said and this is not okay. He cannot see this anymore. And he stood and stared at the water, and we live on the intercoastal, and he stared at the pool, stared at the water for about an hour. And then I heard the front door close, and I looked outside, and he drove away, and he never came back.
He abandoned you guys.
He abandoned us, yes. And a month later, my next door neighbor, who was my closest friend, who we were quarantining with, stopped talking to me as well.
Okay.
And that's when I started to piece things together. Skipping a lot of details, I start to realize there's something more to this.
Your best friend next door was a woman.
Yes.
Okay.
She was married to his closest friend. So our two couples played together, or were together probably 4 or 5 nights a week. Our sons were best friends. They crawled together on the driveways.
Yeah.
So for 5 years. And we traveled together out of the country. They went to my mom's and slept at my mom's home. We were all over the place together.
Okay.
And he denied it. I confronted this in therapy at this point. He denied, no, this is crazy. You could question me about somebody else, but their family, that's crazy. You're crazy.
So you said, are you having an affair with this person?
I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on, but something feels weird. Why will she not speak to me? That's crazy. You're nuts. So I confronted her, and she didn't admit it or deny it. She said nothing. She really didn't say. And that's when I knew, 100%. I knew. And I spent the next 15 months trying to prove it. And I kind of spiraled, right? Just trying to get answers. And the whole time he said, I just need time and space. Just give me time and space. I'm trying to sort this all out in my head. I want to come home. I just need time and space. So this was June. we fast forward to November, and he's still gone, finding his time and using his time and space. And I'm still trying to drive and follow them both everywhere, like a wild woman trying to get proof, because the second I had it, I would have divorced him.
Okay.
And I knew this.
You needed to see it with your own eyes.
I needed to see it. I believed it 100%, but I
you
needed to see it to destroy my children's home. My parents were married over 50 years. My grandparents both as well. I needed proof to like blow up their home. And I couldn't do it until I had that. So we go to November and I'm diagnosed with cancer. And he still never comes home. He doesn't show up.
He doesn't offer support.
He doesn't offer support. Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
And you're with cancer.
Yes.
Running around like a maniac, thinking they're having an affair, taking care of your children, running
Working
your business.
a full-time job.
During COVID.
Yes.
Zero
During
support from this
COVID.
person you were married to for 9 years and
Correct.
together with for 15 years.
I have no family here. So I'm on my own. And this is, during that time where nobody can go in and out of the hospitals with you. Nobody can go to appointments with you. So I go through this. I have 5 surgeries and he's nowhere. I find out through this process that he had bought a new home, which he told me he rented. At that point, I know he's never coming home. But I still want proof of what's going on. And so I literally start like stalking them. And I do find them together, which he, of course, tries to get out of, that she's just personal training him and this and that and so forth. And at the end of the day, I do finally file for divorce and put an end to this because it was 17 months and I was
Of
just
hell.
I was 90 some pounds. I was so tiny and skinny. Oh, and after I finally uncovered the whole thing and caught them together, 2 weeks later, my father passed away.
My
and
God.
he still never, nothing. It was just kind of like a bam, bam, bam. The whole thing kept coming at me.
My God, when it rains, it pours.
It did. It poured
Heather.
on me. And I did shut down at that point. That took a few months to dig out of.
What did that shutdown look like? I mean, you still have 2 kids to take care of. You're still running a business. You're still battling cancer.
Yes. Yeah, all that was going on. That was hard. Those 3 months were tough.
Yeah.
That was, I had to peel myself honestly off the floor for a while,
Yeah.
truly, until I finally woke up one day and really said, I don't like who I am anymore. And I don't actually feel good.
Okay.
I don't feel good about what I'm doing. I don't physically feel good. And I know this isn't good for me and for my health. And this isn't what I want my children to see.
During the dark time, what did you lean on? I mean, when you were peeling yourself off the floor, was it prayer? Was it meditation? Did your twin sister come help?
So I have to admit a couple of things.
Okay.
One, I grew up Catholic, but I really had not gone to church very often. And I did find myself going back to church on Sundays by myself.
It's too big to do it alone
there.
Without faith.
I did find myself going, and then I would take myself to brunch and just kind of people watch. And I think it kind of grounded me. And I did get back into that, which was really good for me. And it took me, I think, back to a place of my grandparents and going to church with them. And it took me to a place of comfort, which felt really good. So that was one. My twin sister definitely was a huge support. She flew down immediately when I was diagnosed and was there it was the week of Thanksgiving and helped tell my mother all of this. But look, we're all strong women and we've got it under control. We already got doctors and we know what we're doing. It's under control, Mom. No worries.
Right.
My older sister, who's very, very, corporate America.
I've got one of those.
This is her. She was a huge surprise and just somehow knew when I needed her and showed up unexpected, maybe 2 or 3 days after I caught them and just said, hey, I'm just going to work from your house for this week and just be with you and the kids. I don't know how or, why that happened, but there she was.
Man, sisters are the best.
Yes.
The best.
So unexpected, but there she was. And behind all of it, I had my Andrea, I call her, who is my She was originally my au pair when my son was 2, and she has never left my side. She's still with me.
So you had a support team.
Yes.
You had your faith. You
Yes.
had your grandparents that were obviously
Yeah.
with you.
Gone, but
With you
Yes.
as angels, giving you the strength that
Yes.
you needed. You were doing your own self-care, going to brunch,
Yes.
taking yourself out, stepping into a place that felt familiar, where you felt safe to be around other people.
yes.
To just remember what normal felt like. And then your sisters came in,
Yeah.
my God, like warriors for you. And then you had purpose that was calling you. Don't give up on yourself. You can do this. You're strong. Remember who you really are. And by the way, these 2 little guys are counting on you. They've just lost one parent. They can't lose another.
Yes.
I mean, my God. That's powerful.
Yes.
You tapped into all of it.
Right. Took a minute.
You're amazing.
It took a minute.
You're amazing.
It's okay, right? It is okay to be able
Yes.
to acknowledge that. And she allowed herself to be a resourced person,
Tell me about that.
right?
That's when she tapped into you? At what point did
Well-
you know you needed Jen?
So I was actually working,
Okay.
and I was sitting in a doctor's office, and of a mutual friend,
Yeah.
a woman I see for work, and we were talking about my story and my life, and she said, "Oh, you need to contact Jen." The doctor told me, "You need to contact Jen, my friend. She can help you." And I took the card. I think I sat on it for a week or so.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in a moment where I felt overwhelmed and like, I don't know what to do with this. And I was struggling, and I reached out and said, I need help. You know, I need support. I need somebody that can help kind of guide me in all of these different avenues of all of it, because I was overwhelmed by my ex-husband. I was overwhelmed by the whole entire divorce thought. Right. So I think it was after I had filed for divorce. And I was overwhelmed by like, how do I deal with my kids? Like, what do you do with divorce? I didn't know any of that.
Shout out you. I mean, just the fact that you knew I need help. Like, how often are we in times in our lives where we're peeling ourselves off the floor, and asking for help feels like welcoming people into your shame or welcoming people into your perceived failure or heartache. And the heartache already is so big to bear. Welcoming someone else in to share with it might feel overwhelming. And yet you said, I need to be resourced. I don't know what I need for support, but I know I need support.
Right. Well, that's where I was, because
Yeah.
there was like a period before that where, you know, during like these 15, 17 months when I was trying to uncover what was going on, I felt completely broken. Like,
Yeah.
I remember girlfriends would call, like, you know, my high school best friend would call every day to check on me and how are you? I'm like, I'm broken. I am not okay. I remember saying, I am not okay.
Wow, you're
Like,
honest.
I'm not. But I was past that when I reached Jen, and I knew I still am lost. Like, I don't know how to navigate any of this, and I need help and support. And I need to still reclaim myself, and I need to get Heather back. And how do I do that through this process? But I'm ready to like go on that trajectory, but I need guidance on how to do that. That's where I was.
She needed a partner.
When you got the
Yes.
call, did you immediately think, I can help Heather? Because it's a lot. This is a lot, Heather. And I'm
Yeah.
so sorry you went through that, and you don't need me to feel sorry, and no one wants anyone to feel sorry, but I'm so grateful that you got through this, because you were obviously in a completely different place than you were in 2020.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Did you know, Jen? She needs help. She needs help. And I can help her. I've got the tools.
Well, I knew that I had the tools. Anyone who's going through divorce who is willing to do the work, right? And I could tell that she was willing to do the work. She had done a lot of introspective questioning and really soul searching, and was ready for the partnership,
Okay.
right? And there are times that people aren't ready. And you can lead, you know, the expression, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't
Make them drink.
She was ready to go on the journey, and I knew that I could support her.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a blessing. So how did you guys start? I mean, what's the first thing you do? Obviously, you unload all of this because it's a lot. And
Yes.
then you begin to navigate this process. So tell me about the 4 quadrants,
Okay.
and then how you actually helped Heather through this. Because I know that there are people that are paying attention to this right now because they are either going through something similar or who have been through something similar or going through something dissimilar, but are still looking for tools for guidance in how to, maybe even just how to ask for support. It's very transformative. This is an inflection point, you know?
For sure. And this goes back to what I had said earlier about allowing yourself to open your prison, right?
Yeah.
To be the warden that comes and opens the door.
Did you feel like you were in prison in your own mind?
Yes.
You did?
Yes. Very much.
It was like, I don't
Absolutely.
even recognize myself.
Yes.
I need to open this up and get out of this cage.
Yes, and I think I didn't realize how much until I felt like myself again. I remember openly being like, I feel like Heather again. Yes, I felt whole. And I felt like the strength and my independence back. And, you know, every day when my reminder at 9 a.m. goes off and says my mantra, which Jen and I created together, which she didn't create, but I remember very distinctly where I was sitting in my house when we had this conversation, which was, what do your friends think of you? If you had to, if they were asked, what do they think of Heather? What would they say? And we went through this conversation and I created this mantra, and it says to me every day at 9, I am strong and independent, capable of all things on my own. And I read this every day and I get this reminder. I needed to get to that place where I felt this and I believed this again. And I feel like I always knew this, but I had lost this in myself.
So every morning at 9 a.m., your phone sends you a message.
Yes.
I am strong and independent and I am capable of doing all things on my own.
And today my 7-year-old goes to bed and says the same thing. And then if she's struggling and can't get her shoes tied, she'll like be chanting it. It's lovely.
Wow.
Yes.
And look at how you're modeling for your daughter and your son.
Yes.
And your son's a little hero.
Yes. He is
Absolutely.
Great.
So
And
tell me. Yeah.
When you're so wrapped up in the negativity, right? When you are hijacked, like your brain, the
Did you feel like you were
amygdala-
drowning? I mean, I would have felt like I was drowning.
I definitely did.
Okay.
I felt like I couldn't dig out. Although I can say I also never felt like I never felt like a victim. I never felt like, why me? I wasn't that girl. I never questioned like, oh, you know, why did he do this with her? Like, what does she have that I don't have? I never was that person.
Okay.
I always understood like my worth. I never questioned that. I think I just know who I am. I just move forward from that. And I also never felt like, oh, why the cancer? I almost felt like that was kind of a blessing. It kind of distracted me.
Really?
From everything else in my life.
Incredible. But that's gratitude. See, that's the magic. The biggest thing about this part, and I think, and I really want to go to the quadrants, and I really wanted to go to how you guys were able to work through this together. But I also think when people go through something horrible, and it's why I wanted to do the show, it is all about this proverb that I read, this Mexican proverb. They tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds.
Yes.
We have a choice.
That's right.
When bad stuff happens, we have a choice. Am I going to allow this thing, as horrible as it is, to bury me and to make me feel like a victim? Or am I going to be the creator of my story and my destiny and the next step forward? Am I going to allow this thing to dig in and get rooted and get grounded and pour it with water and love and sunshine and allow me to grow through it? Because I do believe people have complete and utter breakdowns before they have their breakthrough. And you are a walking, living, breathing example of it.
I think it changed my perspective. Well, I think both things. I think like the whole, everything through the divorce and the cancer together, like they all, well, and my dad's passing. I mean, it was a combination of all of them, like changed my outlook. And I feel like I just, like, I remember 2022, January, I was like, this is my year of the yes. And I'm going to live this year as the year of the yes. And whatever comes, it's going to be
a yes.
It's going to be a yes. And like 2 months in, it was like, hey, do you want to go to Dubai and Turkey with me? And I was like, yes, I want to do this. And then a few months later, I was like, do you want to go to Thailand? I was like, yes, I want to do this.
There's a great movie called Yes Man. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It changes lives. Yeah. It's an old movie. It's a Jim Carrey movie, but he literally did the same thing.
Yes.
The year of yes.
Took it and ran with it. And I just felt like, you know, there's no point in waiting anymore. Right. And I think it's a combination of all these things that happened to me. And I just felt like empowered to be more let go of the control a little bit. You know, I'm heavy type A, and let go a little of the control and try to take on more of the
spontaneity.
Exactly.
And the joys.
Yes. And the little things. Enjoy the little things.
And it sounds to me like everything that you're saying to me, which is just like hitting me in the face and I can't avoid it, is that you're centered in gratitude.
Yes. Try to.
Yeah.
Not try. Committed.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my gosh, you're so good about that.
Yes.
I am committed
Right.
to setting the intention for gratitude.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you know, Heather just used the word empower. The first two letters in empower are EM. And when you turn them around, me. And that's where our power is. And, you know, through the coaching process, I believe that Heather learned that there are people out there who can help you, who can guide you, who can be of support. And it's really important, you know, Brené Brown talks about vulnerability being a strength.
Yeah.
It is. It is a strength to ask for help, right?
Sure.
And that's what I do for people who are going through transition.
So tell me how you guys work together. Jen, how did you help Heather navigate, you know, this very contentious situation?
Well, we met for about an hour a week, sometimes more when we were getting closer to mediation, and, you know, spoke with her professionals, really figured out what she needed.
Those are attorneys, professionals in this scenario?
Okay. Yeah, attorneys and
Forensic accountants.
Forensic accountants.
Yes.
Thank you.
Forensic accountants.
Yeah.
Oh, so this was messy.
This was messy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's my specialty, working with high conflict, you know, individuals. Not that they are necessarily high conflict, although, you know, everybody has a responsibility in the demise of a marriage, even if it's 1%.
Sure.
Right? So
you worked with the professionals in coordination with Heather.
And also really helping her with her narrative. Once your professionals know your narrative, there is no need to constantly be telling them, because every second that you speak to them, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Right.
So, you know, the bills that you get from your, you know, legal representative or your financial representative, they, especially in a high conflict marriage, divorce, they really add up. And
I always say,
very expensive.
In business, in love, in life, whether you win or lose, your lawyer always wins.
True.
So I helped her script for all her professional meetings. We worked on, you know, putting together the finances. I'm not an accountant and I'm not a lawyer, and I always say that, but I have enough experience now to help them understand how do we move through the financial affidavit, which, you know, everybody going through
very
divorce,
helpful.
Needs to understand, and how to, you know, accrue that information and organize it. And really, and this is the crux of it all, how to separate the emotional side from the business side of divorce. Because for most people, and I work with men and women, it is one of the biggest business decisions they will make, right?
Wow.
And really helping them realign to that business perspective, right? And so what the Four Quadrants, you know, hone in on, and what I write about in my book, is that there is an organizational piece to the divorce. How are you going to organize for the process? There are many different ways. And, you know, and for Heather, I mean, she was much more, you know, pen to paper, and then we did some digitally, but there are many ways. So, you know, and the more organized you are, the more knowledge you have and more powerful you feel to stand in your truth.
So the first quadrant of this process is organization?
Yes.
What's the second quadrant?
The second one is dealing with the emotions.
Okay.
Right? And I often work...
Is that the hardest part? Because it feels heavy to me.
It is
dealing
heavy.
with the emotions.
And, you know, I have to say to you, it's also very invigorating.
Really?
Because I know that I can help my clients move towards a business relationship. It's developing these skills, developing an awareness. I call it the 3 A's of change, right? If we are not aware of where our responsibility lies or what we need to do, ignorance is not bliss, okay, during a divorce. And then the second A is acknowledging, you know, and then the third A is action. What can I do about it? Knowledge is power. So she was very good. She took notes during our sessions, and would read the articles I gave to her and really was ready and willing to do the work. And so once you can sort of put the emotions in a box, right? And understand that the goal is to get the best deal for yourself. And divorce is like a snowflake. No two are the same. So what's good for Heather is not necessarily good for my other client. But keeping in mind, we have a, 2-family working home, right? And we have children, and what's the parenting plan going to look like? We spend a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And the great thing is that, especially in the state of Florida, you must go through mediation if there's conflict before you ever go in front of a judge. Again, I'm not an attorney.
But you are a mediator at the Supreme Court level.
I am a mediator, but I always like to say, that I am not an attorney. But unless there is domestic abuse or, financial constraint, so on and so forth. So in mediation, you can have custom provisions, meaning, for example, at the age of 18 in the state of Florida, neither parent is obligated financially to their children.
You're technically a legal adult at that point.
Yes. And and I know, I call them adulting.
Yeah.
They are
I'm 50. My mom still is like, I'm happy to take care of you forever.
Yes, I feel the same way. But at mediation, if both parties can agree, you can agree that maybe 50-50 on college or 50-50 on life, health insurance and all that. And so in my book, I list a plethora of custom provisions that people wouldn't know to ask for unless I was sitting side by side or unless they had worked with me or another person who is versed in the divorce process.
Okay, so we've moved from organization to emotion. What's the third quadrant?
These are the crux, the financial piece, and helping them understand the alleys is what I call them.
Okay.
The assets, liabilities.
So is financial piece the third quadrant of divorce? Organization, emotion, financial piece.
Financial.
And that part is really hard because, a dissolution of a marriage is a lot of times like a dissolution of an estate as well.
Oh, it is.
Nobody starts a marriage thinking, oh, this is going to end in a divorce in 9 years. So let's have a pretty plan for how we're going to go our separate ways. And I don't know if this was part of your experience, but I know from friends of mine that have gone through the process, sometimes their partner is saying like, oh, well, I'm not going to help with the kids' college. Good luck. Or I don't want you to live in the family home. I'm taking that for me and my
we had that.
whomever. Or, that can be part of this, right?
Worked hard for that.
We really did. And it worked out well. Yes.
Good.
Yes, we sat through 2 days of
mediation. I kept her by my side.
Yeah, smart. Yeah. And did your ex-husband also have a divorce coach or no?
No.
Oh, well, his loss. Okay, let's go to the fourth quadrant.
And the fourth quadrant is a legal quadrant,
okay,
right? And so with both the financial and the legal, I worked side by side with the forensic accountants, really helping her be her own boss of the process. Because what ends up happening is that you are very insecure about, going to an attorney or going to a financial advisor, whether it be just an accountant, a CDFA, certified divorce financial analyst, or a forensic accountant, and really helping them be prepared. I wanted my clients in and out in an hour, right?
Okay.
This is what we're doing. These are the questions. They walked in with a script so they could write everything out. Sometimes I would go with my clients depending on where their emotion, where they were emotionally. And
did you do that to protect your clients so that they're not being overbilled because this kind of work is hourly?
So I did it twofold. Number one, it ends up being a very expensive process because clients are in the habit of constantly telling their personal narrative. And, my husband, my soon-to-be ex showed up late and da-da-da-da-da-da. And then by the time 30 minutes have gone by and attorneys are charging $800 an hour. So you just paid $400 to tell them that story when, you could have told that to a friend or your divorce coach.
Do you think that you would have been able to stay on track to keep your process within the confines of an hour if Jennifer hadn't been like, look, Heather, I know this is eating you up inside, but let's keep it to an hour?
I think I myself was really good at doing this to my friends who probably were like, please call another friend, if I'm being honest.
Really?
But I can definitely see where people probably do that a lot.
Okay.
But I'm very frugal. So I probably didn't do that horribly to my attorney, just because I didn't want to pay her like that. But I did do that a little to her.
And that's
So-
okay. And that's
Yeah.
and that's what
That's
I was
where you
there
felt like you
for.
really needed the support.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
That was more valuable to you. I mean, we're all living
Yes.
in, you know, how can we present value?
But it's definitely, an emotional thing. I mean, I vividly remember sitting in mediation where, I can remember Jen having to like shut it down at one point as I was like, in tears. And that's where I can remember really having this emotional thing, this moment where I just couldn't continue.
Well, and clients don't know that they have the right to say, I need 5 minutes.
Yes.
So when I noticed
Yeah, we
her
wouldn't know that.
getting so upset,
Mhm.
I was like, you know what? We're going to take a few minutes and regroup, breathe. I need to figure out with her where she's spiraling and what her goals are. And at that point, we were talking about the house, right? And so I remember that very specifically. And once she came back, she was in a different mindset, And this is what I talk about in terms of my impact method, right? Of how you move through. Mindset is so important.
Break down the impact method real quick.
So the impact method it's focused on 5 stepping stones that lead to transformation. One is intentional awareness, right? Which we've
Recognizing there's a problem.
right. Mindset, personal power. How do you stand in your personal power? And we went through several skills and sessions, standing in your truth. The other one is adaptability, right? In this process, it's really important to hone in on where you can negotiate. How are you going to evolve, right? That's really important. And then, to me, the most important is community, right? Community, being a resource person, reaching out, knowing that you're not alone.
Yeah,
Right?
it sounds like you had a great support system.
I did.
Do you think you could have done it without it?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Realigning with
Yeah.
your own inner voice, with your faith, with your community,
Yes.
having resource support of a professional. That
Yes,
also
I needed
really
all of it.
cared about. You needed all of it.
Yes.
What's the T in impact?
Transformation. It all
Voila.
leads to transformation. And I think that, when you look back on those chapters of your life, you stand today transformed,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
right?
Wow.
Yes, a different human.
Yeah.
Different human.
Yes.
You know, I think sometimes people are like, oh, don't ever change. And it's like, God, we have to change.
evolve,
We have to
yes.
evolve. We're supposed to get incrementally better and evert every day, if
Absolutely.
humanly possible.
That's
Like,
Kaizen.
oh, is it?
Yes, and I think it's a Japanese, and we get better like 0.01%. Don't quote me
Right.
on the percentage, but and it's not having to, right? The way we speak to ourselves matters. It's the want, right? When you want to do something, you feel more empowered. You have this energy inside of you that allows you to take these brave bites forward.
There are 2 things that you've said to me in the short time that I've known you that are so powerful. One, I said something to you once about, I'm really trying to do this. And you said, no, there is no trying.
Yes.
You are committed.
Yes.
You have set the intention to do this.
That's right.
And so I don't say, I try not to say it anymore. I still probably do say
And
I'm
that's
trying to
okay.
do something. But in my mind, I'm like, no, you're not trying. You are committed to this. Because that actually is where my heart is.
Yes.
I really do move with intention. I'm not trying to move with intention.
That's
I'm
right.
committed to moving with intention. And the second thing that you said to me
I love
once,
this.
and I've said, oh, okay, we're giving you your
Yes.
shine. We're
No,
giving
but
you your flowers.
This is everything. This
Yeah.
is why I do what I do.
Yeah, and you're so good at it. But the other thing that you said to me once, and I mentioned it on another episode of Grown Woman, you asked me once, we were just talking about
Oh,
life and
yes.
entrepreneurship
Yes.
and family and all the things that we juggle as people. And Jennifer said to me, who supports you? Who believes in your big dream?
Oh, yes.
Who Who in your life is your
Yes,
biggest
yes, I
supporter?
Yes.
And without question, I was like, my mom.
Mhm.
My mom is my angel. My mom is my rock. My mom is my ride or die. My mom loves me unconditionally. I will be lost without the love and support of my mother, Jacqueline Ann Silva Williams. She is everything to me. She is our queen. And you said to me, it's so great that your mom loves you. But why are you not your biggest supporter? And I was like, oh my God, these are my dreams. This is my life. This is my family. This is my multiple businesses. This is my vision for myself.
Right.
This is my relationship with God and all of the gifts that God has given me. Why is my voice not the voice that I hear first? Why is my belief in myself not the belief that I rely on? Because guess what? I believe in myself.
That's right.
Because you know what? If nobody else does, I don't give a fuck.
That's right.
This is about me.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
No, my pleasure.
It's so powerful.
It is, and I wish that they taught these
Yeah.
things in school
Sure.
Yes.
so that we all had the power within ourselves.
Well, if
right?
you teach it in school, then what happens is that we have empowered problem solvers in the world. And truth be told, the 1% of the 1% doesn't really want empowered, brilliant.
Well.
It's really sad. That is the goal and that is the dream. But we all know that there are things at play that would love for people to just walk in a line,
that's
do
very
what
true.
everybody says, and just accept what is the barest of minimums. But we want to empower people to absolutely believe in their dreams and go after them.
That's right. That's right. Because John Kabat-Zinn said, wherever we go, there we are.
That's it.
Right. And we're always with ourselves.
Right.
And
And if you're not changing, you're choosing.
that,
Mhm.
yes, that's right.
Yeah. That's not my quote. I don't know whose it is. So here we are. It's a new world. You are transformed.
Yeah.
Praise
Absolutely.
God.
Yeah.
I am so happy for you.
Yes.
And thank you for the amazing work that you do.
Thank you.
And I know that we'll let people know how they can reach out to you. And certainly, this book, Strategies and Tips from a Divorce Coach, A Roadmap to Move Forward, is a powerful work. And for anybody that's navigating through this or potentially navigating through this or loving someone that's navigating through this, this is an amazing resource, as is your website.
Thank you.
And this whole concept that you have, this new modality that you're unveiling, which is Brave Bites Forward,
Yes.
really is empowering people to just incrementally every single day take a step forward to the life that you want, the
That's
life that
right.
you're choosing for yourself.
Mhm.
I guess the question that I have for both of you guys, and this is me selfishly asking it, Heather, I want you to answer it first, if that's okay.
Okay.
After going through all of this,
Yes.
do you still believe in love?
I do.
You do.
I do.
You do.
I'm engaged.
Yes. What?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yes. Thank
So
you.
you've fallen in love again.
I did. Yes. I
Did you have any PTSD from committing?
So maybe I would be fibbing a little. if I
Okay.
said I'm not a little,
Sure.
just guarded
Okay.
a little with my
Sure.
heart.
And that's understandable.
But at the same time, I don't believe all men are, this and that. And
Of course
all that.
not.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I
Right.
believe what happened to me was an isolated incident with my ex-husband, and I trust and believe in my fiance. He's a wonderful man, and I trust him explicitly.
I'm so
He's
happy
great.
for you. I'm
He's
so
wonderful.
happy for you.
I'm excited.
And most important,
Yes.
who do you trust?
I trust myself.
That's right. That's right.
I
Through
do.
those lenses.
That's the magic.
Yes.
And how are your children doing?
They're great.
And how's that brave little boy that said, Mom?
You know what? He's wonderful. He's a strong little guy. He's courageous. He's almost 11. He's a love.
My
He's
God.
great. Yeah.
And what about you? Jennifer, do you still believe in love?
I do. I'm engaged also.
Yes!
So yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's hope.
I often say, other than the messages in the mess, it's not my quote, but setbacks are opportunities for comebacks.
Mm.
And, you know, looking for the glimmers, the good things.
Yeah.
The things that we can be grateful for, because as a coach, we focus on where we are now and where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the pen. We
Right.
all have the pen.
So tell me your quote again about being a victim or
A creator.
creator. Tell me about that.
So I fundamentally believe that in any situation,
Mhm.
whether it's divorce, disease, bankruptcy, whatever, wherever you
Don't throw bankruptcy at me.
I'm not throwing bankruptcy at you. I did.
Bankruptcy,
Boo,
bankruptcy,
boo. No.
abundance mindset.
That's right. That's right. No, I was just throwing it out there. Or
Yes,
even,
Throw
you
it
know,
that way.
Yeah.
a conflict with somebody. You're always at choice.
Yeah.
We are always at choice, and that's a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
And it's okay to feel victimized, right?
Sure.
Initially. And then it's important, because two things can exist at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
the
My daughter
and
always says
mindset.
that. Two things can be true.
How are we going to create the life we want? And you can, in the word impossible, it says, I'm possible.
Right.
Possibility is all around us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. So first of all, I just want to thank you both so much. I think this has been incredibly helpful. And for anyone that's watching at home, an amazing resource
Thank you
in
so
Jennifer
much.
Medwin. And by the way, thank you for reaching out to me saying, I would love to be a part of the show, because I really believe that we can help people that don't have access to you personally, but could listen to your words here,
Yeah.
grab your book, go to your website, and to start taking some brave bites forward.
Right.
And Heather, I want to thank you so much for being so transparent and honest about this.
Of course.
You know, this is one of those topics that people do not want to talk about, because it is so hard. And there's a lot of heartbreak is hard. And so I guess I want to ask you, and I would love for you to really talk to anyone that may be watching this. You went through this chaos and you went through this trauma and this dissolution of your marriage, and now you have found love again. What would you say to someone that's heard your story and maybe in a similar situation? What would you tell them?
Wow, what would I tell them? Whew. So if there is anyone going through anything similar that can relate to any piece of my story, I would say don't get sidetracked by the chaos, and lean on those in your life that can give you the support. Give yourself some grace during the process, and look forward to the future. Find your power, find your strength, and take the steps forward, because the road ahead is going to be beautiful. And don't give up. You'll get there.
Thank
So,
you
yeah.
so much. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining
Thank
us
you.
at Grown Woman. I'm very, very grateful. This was powerful. And thank you. And I'm so happy that you're healthy.
Thank you.
I'm very happy that you're in love.
Thank
but I'm
you.
even
Me
maybe
too.
more happy that
Yes.
you're healthy.
Yes, thank
First
you.
and foremost.
Yeah, first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Grown
doing
ass
great
women,
work.
baby.
Yes.
Man,
That's
we
right.
need them.